already on the main stage with so much hype, and for a good reason. One of the most prepared pool surfers that's on tour.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting match.
Everyone got a little bit extra time this morning since it's finals day for this 10 a.m. local time start. So Erin Brooks got on that 8:30 shuttle from the hotel with headphones on and focus on trying to make her dream come true today. Brooks kicking us off on finals day. Throwing another nice snap higher off the top on the second turn. Big belt, best maneuver the third. Just a nice, easy progression on her backhand turns. Deciding to skip that opening two and just continue to put down big snaps. Great pace there. Just super controlled surfing. A lot of different looks at that backhand snap. She'll pull in and get a nice barrel. Lights up the lip again and slips on the final turn. Countless, so many different versions of the snap from out the back. Really stayed in that same motion all the way through, and then switch it up by getting barreled at the tail end of her first ride.
That was very impressive, that tube ride for her on that last section right there. We've seen it so many people get a little bit late and get very sticky with that lip hitting their head, and she somehow managed to pull it off. But beautiful surfing here for her. Like you mentioned, she kept the same pace throughout the whole time. I wish her to maybe break it up a little bit and maybe went bigger for one turn and missed a section or something, just to have a point of difference. But overall, very solid way to start a wave. To start a heat, applying pressure to Molly. She's going to start to unleash. And then this next turn, if I'm not mistaken, is where she starts to push. See that? Like, she fits that barrel right there. She gets lipped right there. And most of the people, when they get lipped on the entry, they're getting sticky. They're getting stuck and not being able to come, making it out. But she's just so talented. She's so impressive on top of the board that she just pulled it off. A miracle right there for her. That was impressive and a great way to start a heat.
So balanced. We're asking some surfers if that does feel like advantage is the higher seed. I think they're still figuring it out on the fly. Watching Erin Brooks now on her first left of finals day. Nice spray there. Another similar type of carve. She'll settle for 2 turns before pulling in. Just getting a little bit of the pocket there, holding her line well. Now on the wind-up, tags that first section. And getting on a roll through 3 projection snaps down the line. Now it's starting to stretch out for the end section tube, and she will get clipped on the head.
Just caught up with.
So 5.5 and on her right, and now missing the finish on her first left of finals day.
And that's how tricky Surf Abu Dhabi is. Like, you have to keep your focus and your mental strength throughout a period of 40 seconds. And that's very unusual for the surfers. Like, we usually have 10-second waves. And for here, as you see it, she starts off very well and she has so much energy. You can see her body language with the hands and beautiful style there. Stalling, double dragging, getting pretty deep on that middle section right there. And this is when she starts to unleash. So you're going to see that energy and the body torque. Making sure she's on the most critical part of the wave, and this is when it gets actually the easiest part of the wave for her, but she just probably loses a little bit of focus and catches that inside rail and gets a little bit too high. And what that happens is that score is going to get cut off by good points, and she was on her way to starting off the heat very strongly and very solid. See, she gets a little bit too high right there, ended up catching the outside rail and go over the handlebar. And this is all because she probably lost a little bit of focus and maybe got herself ahead of herself.
Putting herself in the Lexus WSL finals. So she's understand the pressure of that format at the end of the season a couple of times now, and her first right of finals day was right in front of her. Climb to start for the Australian. Nice sweeping turn using a lot of the rail, that DHT, and wow, beautiful snap. And then flowing into this first barrel section. Pops out the other end. And a sweeping bottom turn, nice framed up, fading cut back. wrapping turn on that next section. Now a clean off the top for Molly. End section 2, spinning behind her, and she'll set up a beautiful hack to finish. Turns it into a combination of turns, make it 3 following the final pit. Great start for Molly Picklum.
That's the difference that we're going to see, right? Like from a surfer that is more mature, has more power, she's going to draw out the turns a little bit more. At the beginning of that wave, you could see that beautiful carve that she displaced a lot of water and hold it on rail. And the entry to that first barrel was very impressive, very critical turn. You're going to see right here, starts with the foam climb. That's when she's going to draw out. Look how much power she can apply to the board. Gets up in vertical in the most critical part of the section with a lot of flair. Gets a nice barrel there. So just for that first half of the wave, she's adding some points on top of Erin's first right. And then here, she mixes it up. Nice setup, layback. Goes a little bit softer on that section. Hits it nicely. And right here, she just knows she needs to finish the wave because she's on her way to a good score. And I think she was just very smart to finish it off. And she's going to apply a lot of pressure on top of Erin with that first right specifically. And in my opinion, I mean, this has to be the best score of the heat so far. Look at how critical that section is. Up in vertical, you see she has to stomp on that back foot to keep the nose out of the water. And then this might be the last barrel, not the first one. That's the only downside. Like, she didn't get so deep on that last one. You're going to see she just gets covered up. And that's an angle that's helping actually her to disappear. If you see the front angle, she wasn't too deep. But the damage was done.
Which, you know, she's developed in just a few years' time, already finaling semi-final this year, winning a specialty event before, as we watch Molly set up the backhand fade. Connects well right in the pocket, hitting it really hard before the pit, blowing her board out. What an amazing transition into that first tube. Always surfing critically, but nice flow, not overturning those sections. Her pace and tempo are just spot on. And now getting completely behind the curtain. Here's the wind-up final section. Molly Picklum wraps it. Jams it on the end section. A very solid opening run here on finals day for Molly Picklum. Standing by for scores from the left. 6A3 already came in for Molly on the right. Look for her to take the lead over Erin Brooks after their first run here in quarter number 1. We'll be right back.
Some of the best surfing we've seen it so far on the women's side.
And all Molly's been doing is just laughing the last couple of days.
She's been doing that all day, yeah.
So much fun. Erin's already swinging, regrouping her strategy, and really looked like she's attacking harder out the back. So the thought process was maybe you have to look at this barrel and it's going to shove her down the line. So not quite achieving it, but her turns are looking fresh. Her first wave of the morning was that opening run. So different for surfers, so she already looks like she's more warmed up and ready for run 2. So grabbing the rail, still a little out in front of the barrel, but her turns looking solid. Her timing much better on this second opportunity on the right. Finishes with a little tail slide.
That was beautiful surfing. I like what I see. You see that she took her pace a little bit off. She didn't try to keep that rhythm of intensity throughout the whole wave. When what that did, it just gave her opportunity to apply bigger turns and also drawing out her carves more on the backhand, making them look bigger. On the downside of things, like we just mentioned about Molly getting the 767 backhand, she had that very critical entry to the barrel, and you're going to see here the difference. Nice first turn opening up there for Erin, and then here she sets up, does that beautiful turn, but look how much time she has in order to get inside that barrel. So this makes it more predictable and less exciting for the judges. But here's what I like what she did on that wave. She takes the almost like gets a little slower in what she was doing and drawing out those turns a little bit more, make them look bigger. Gets a nice barrel to finish it off, and then right in the end here, she gets all that energy that we're so used to seeing from her in the speed, and applies 3 very critical turns, and gonna finish it off with an even better one with the tail release right there. Good surfing for her. Just lacked a little bit deftness in the barrel.
You can see her slow down to try to get drained down that end section, and then the finishing moves. Put in a lot and was able to switch gears with a bit of variety, which can be hard backhand. But like you mentioned, Jesse, I think the clear change from her first right was the pace and the tempo that she applied on wave number 2 on the right.
And for her luck right now, she has all it takes for her to get that 8.57. I just think she needs to be a little bit innovative on this. This is going to be a point of difference for her on the left.
Erin Brooks representing Canada, but one of her local breaks would definitely be in Waco, Texas. As you check out this stall for the barrel, puts herself in a great position, maybe a touch deeper than she was on her first try, and goes completely behind the curtain. Well done on that read. Nice, solid connection in the pocket, belts it again. Much more spray flying off that mayhem.
Big finish, come on.
So seeing improvements from her right, now on her left as well. Real deep, she doesn't get clipped, makes it this time. Throws a big tail release, but doesn't get the finish. But serious improvement on run number 2. Her coach loves it.
How's the heat IQ for a girl that is 17 years old to recognize that she needs to go that big on the end after doing such a solid 35 seconds of a wave previous to that? But she had to. Like, she needs an 8.57. Starts off pretty well. Only down part of this wave just sets up a little bit too much once again for the barrel, but makes it up. That's probably the deepest barrel we've seen on the women's side so far. She gets very deep right there. Seems like she's going to push her out, and then she's going to slow herself down again, get fully covered, disappear from the side angle, and then she starts to unload. Super critical first turn. Gets on that good rhythm, attacking a lot of body energy, up torque. And then here she gets that second barrel, gets deep again, and she knows she needs to go massive and be progressive. And she goes for the air, unfortunately. Would have landed that, I had no doubt that was going to be into the 9s.
So explosive, one of the best in the air. And she was also able to have some really lethal turns before that pit. What an improvement from Erin Brooks.
Huge improvement. Even more on this left than comparing to the right. Like, and that's just that pace. Keeping her heartbeat on the lower side and keep herself calm and making more clear decisions. Unfortunately for her, that offshore wind's gonna push that board away from her, and just landing perfectly but without the board.
Make it.
So close.
To an air.
Oh! Into this wave pool. So Molly into the semifinals. What would you do, Jesse? I mean, if you're going, I got semifinals, I have finals, is this wave so demanding where she should kind of relax here?
Yeah, I think she should. I think she should try and draw a little bit of a different line for her to see how the judges feel about it. But doesn't need to go 100%. She needs to just save up. It's going to be a long day, and it's a very taxing day for all the surfers. Imagine how many 40-second waves they're going to get if they want to win this event. So
be fun to see Molly try something different. Like you mentioned, the judges are scoring this. You know, they're looking at every turn. So if she wants to see how they like a certain section or a different line, she could try it there. So just feeling out her frontside air. And it's not an air that you see a lot at the end of the right for the regular footers or the end of the left for the goofies. It's often that alley-oop to stay in the wave. But a straight air would be pretty rad if someone could land it.
Would be refreshing, that's for sure. It's just the angle doesn't cooperate so much for the surfers to actually direct their boards clockwise in the air. As you're going to see right there, the wave bends at you. So it's better for you to just go on clockwise, and you're going to see the board's going to fly away from her. And that's all because the lip right there, it's not matching the perfect angle that the surfers would like.
Coming up in quarterfinal number 2. And this will be the last wave for Molly Picklum in the quarters. All prep work for her semifinal later on today.
Do you notice the difference of intensity that she's surfing right now compared to what she surfed in the previous wave? And that's just holding herself down. She just doesn't want to waste that energy if she doesn't need to.
And right there, her run is going to stop. So just kind of feeling out her board, not trying to rush anything. Everything is working for Molly Picklum right now. You didn't need the right or the left in her second run. And the impressive part of that is just waking up ready. You know, she didn't have a surf this morning, and the basin's flat in the morning, and she was just doing laps in it, just trying to be in the water to keep her routine the same as if she was at an ocean event. As we see, the final scores, Molly Picklum moving on to the semifinals, and Erin Brooks will start preparing for stop number 3 in Portugal.